The day it all started was ordinary. My sister Mia and I were the typical siblings: playful banter, stolen snacks, and the occasional argument over who got to use the bathroom first. At 19, Mia was a year older than me, confident and effortlessly stylish. She had a way of carrying herself that turned heads without trying. Me? I was the quieter sibling, stuck somewhere between longing and self-discovery, carefully treading the line of societal expectations and my own truth. Mia's wardrobe was a treasure trove of colors, textures, and possibilities. Her dresses hung like dreams in her closet, each garment representing a piece of freedom I yearned for but didn't dare claim. For as long as I could remember, I'd felt a pull, an undeniable urge to explore something buried deep within me. I wasn't just curious about wearing women's clothes, I felt a connection to them. One afternoon when Mia wasn't home, the temptation became too strong to ignore. I opened her closet, heart pounding, and ran my fingers along the soft fabrics. A knee-length floral dress caught my eye, soft pink with tiny white flowers. It was so quintessentially Mia, and yet in that moment, it felt like it could be quintessentially me. Slipping into the dress was like stepping into another world. The fabric hugged my body in ways that felt right. I caught my reflection in the mirror and froze. For the first time, I didn't just see myself. I saw a version of me that felt complete. I twirled, laughing softly at the way the hem swirled around my legs. It was exhilarating. Then I heard the unmistakable sound of the front door opening. Adam. Mia's voice echoed through the house. My heart plummeted. I scrambled to change back, but it was too late. The bedroom door creaked open, and there she stood, a bag of groceries in her arms, her eyes widening as she took in the sight before her. "Is that my dress?" she asked, her voice a mix of shock and confusion. I froze, unable to form words. The air between us thickened, every second stretching into eternity. Finally, I managed to stammer. "I can explain." Mia set the groceries down and crossed her arms. "I think you'd better." I felt like a deer caught in headlights. "It's not what it looks like," I blurted, immediately regretting it.
It was exactly what it looked like.
Mia raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. "So, you're not wearing my dress?" I sighed, shoulders sagging under the weight of the moment. "Okay, fine. I am. But it's not just about the dress. It's more complicated than that." She sat on the edge of her bed, her expression softening. "Then help me understand." I hesitated, searching for the right words. I've always felt different. Like there's a part of me that doesn't fit with what people expect. Wearing this, it makes me feel like I'm closer to figuring out who I really am. Mia nodded slowly, her gaze thoughtful. "And who is that?" "I don't know yet," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. "But when I look in the mirror like this, I feel happy. Like I'm seeing the real me for the first time." There was a long pause before Mia spoke again. "Okay. First of all, you could have just asked before raiding my closet. Second, I'm not mad. I'm just surprised." "You're not mad?" I asked, my voice tinged with disbelief. "No," she said firmly. "But I think we need to talk about this more. And maybe you need to talk to Mom." The mention of Mom made my stomach churn. "I can't," I said quickly. "She'll never understand." "You don't know that," Mia replied gently. "But she deserves to know who you are. And so do you." Over the next few days, Mia and I talked more than we ever had before. She asked questions, some awkward, some insightful, and I answered as honestly as I could. She even offered to help me find clothes of my own, a gesture that filled me with equal parts gratitude and nervousness. But the looming conversation with Mom hung over me like a storm cloud. The day I finally told her started like any other. Mia sat beside me on the couch, her presence a reassuring anchor. I hesitated, my heart pounding as I tried to find the courage to speak. "Mom," I began, my voice shaking. "There's something I need to tell you." She looked up from her book, concern flickering across her face. "What is it, sweetheart?" I glanced at Mia, who gave me an encouraging nod. Taking a deep breath, I said, "I've been exploring something about myself. I've been wearing women's clothes, and it feels right. It feels like me. For a moment, there was only silence. Then Mom set her book aside and leaned forward, her eyes searching mine. Adam, this is a lot to take in. But I love you no matter what. You're my child, and that will never change. The relief that washed over me was overwhelming. I hadn't realized how tightly I'd been holding my breath until it came rushing out in a sob. Mom pulled me into a hug, and Mia joined us, wrapping her arms around us both. As the days turned into weeks, the conversations continued, sometimes awkward, sometimes emotional, but always filled with love. Mom asked if I wanted to tell Dad and our extended family, and though the idea terrified me, I knew it was time. When we finally gathered the family for a meeting, I was a bundle of nerves. Mia stood by my side, her presence a steadying force. As I spoke, sharing my journey and my truth, I felt a weight lifting off my shoulders. To my surprise, the response was overwhelmingly supportive. There were questions, of course, and some relatives needed time to process, but the love and acceptance I felt were undeniable. Looking back, I realized that the day Mia caught me wearing her dress wasn't the end of the world. It was the beginning of mine. It set in motion a journey of self-discovery, love, and acceptance that brought me closer to my family and, most importantly, to myself. And while I've since built a wardrobe of my own, that pink floral dress will always hold a special place in my heart. It was the first step toward becoming who I was meant to be. Mia's support was the thread that kept me grounded as I navigated the complexities of coming to terms with my identity. After that first, vulnerable conversation, she became my confidant, my stylist, and my partner in this newfound exploration. She took me shopping for the first time, a whirlwind experience that left me simultaneously exhilarated and terrified. "You need to stop looking over your shoulder," Mia said as we browsed the racks at a small boutique downtown. "No one cares as much as you think they do." "That's easy for you to say," I muttered, running my fingers nervously over a soft lavender blouse. "You're not the one who feels like everyone is staring." Mia placed a hand on my arm, her expression gentle but firm. "Adam, or whatever name you want to go by." I looked up sharply. "What do you mean?" She smiled. "Well, if this is who you are, maybe Adam isn't the name you'll want forever. Have you thought about that?" The idea sent a jolt through me. I hadn't. Not seriously, anyway. But now that she said it, the thought took root, growing quietly in the back of my mind. I don't know yet," I admitted. "That's okay," she said, giving my arm a reassuring squeeze. "You'll figure it out." We left the store with a small bag containing a flowy skirt, a cozy cardigan, and a pair of earrings that Mia insisted would look perfect with my vibe. I hadn't worked up the courage to try them on in the store, but back home, with Mia cheering me on, I finally slipped into the outfit. The person in the mirror looked more like me than I'd ever seen before. "You're glowing," Mia said, beaming at me. "This is you, Adam. Or whoever you decide to be." Her words stuck with me. That night, as I lay in bed, I tried out names in my head. Emma, Lily, Sophie. None of them felt quite right. But then, like a whisper on the wind, one came to me. Evelyn. It was soft, elegant, and felt like a warm embrace. The next morning, I told Mia, "I think I want to try going by Evelyn," I said, my voice tentative but hopeful. Mia's face lit up. "Evelyn. I love it. It suits you." From that day forward, Mia started calling me Evelyn whenever we were alone. At first, it felt strange, like trying on a pair of shoes that hadn't yet molded to my feet. But the more she used it, the more it felt like home. The next hurdle was telling my dad. While Mom had been quick to embrace my journey, I wasn't so sure about him. He was a man of few words, practical and stoic, and I had no idea how he'd react. "Do you want me to be there when you tell him?" Mia asked. I nodded. "Yes. Definitely yes." The three of us sat in the living room one evening after dinner. My hands were clammy, and my heart felt like it might beat out of my chest. "Dad," I began, my voice trembling, "there's something I need to tell you." He set down his mug of coffee, his brow furrowing slightly. "What's on your mind, son?" The word son hit me like a punch to the gut, but I pushed through. I've been exploring something about myself. I've started wearing different clothes, and I've realized that I feel more like myself when I do. I've even started using a different name. Dad's expression didn't change, but I could see the gears turning in his mind. A different name? Evelyn, I said softly. I want to be called Evelyn. There was a long pause, during which I was certain my heart had stopped. Then Dad nodded slowly. Well, Evelyn, it sounds like you've given this a lot of thought. I have, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. He leaned back in his chair, his eyes thoughtful. I won't pretend I understand all of this right away. But you're my child, and I love you. That hasn't changed. Relief washed over me, and I felt tears prick at the corners of my eyes. Thank you, I said, my voice breaking. Dad stood and pulled me into a hug. We'll figure this out together, okay? Telling the rest of the family was a mixed bag. My grandparents were supportive, but struggled to adjust to the changes. My younger cousin, Emma, was delighted. Can I borrow your makeup sometime? She asked, her excitement contagious. There were a few hiccups, of course. An uncle who made a poorly timed joke. A family friend who couldn't quite wrap her head around it. But overall, the outpouring of love and acceptance was more than I could have hoped for. With my family behind me, I started to explore my identity more openly. I began experimenting with makeup, learning to apply foundation and eyeliner with Mia's patient guidance. I started building a wardrobe that felt like an extension of my soul. Soft sweaters, flowing skirts, and a pair of ankle boots that I absolutely adored. The first time I stepped out in public as Evelyn was nerve-wracking. Mia insisted on coming with me, and we went to a cafe a few towns over where no one would recognize us. As I walked through the door, every nerve in my body felt like it was on high alert. Were people staring, whispering, judging? But as we sat down and ordered our drinks, I realized something surprising. No one seemed to care. You're doing great, Mia whispered, giving me an encouraging smile. By the time we left the cafe, I felt like I'd conquered a mountain. It wasn't just about wearing a skirt or being called Evelyn. It was about owning who I was, even in the face of fear. The journey wasn't without its challenges. There were days when I doubted myself, days when the weight of societal expectations felt unbearable. But each time, I reminded myself of the progress I'd made, of the love and support that surrounded me. One evening, as I sat with Mom in the kitchen, she said something that stuck with me. You know, Evelyn, you've taught me a lot through all of this. Me? I asked, surprised. She nodded. You've shown me what it means to be brave, to live authentically, even when it's hard. I'm so proud of you. Her words were a balm to my soul, a reminder that this journey was about more than just me. It was about the people I loved, the connections we shared, and the world we were building together. As the months turned into years, I continued to grow into myself. I started therapy to explore my feelings further and began considering what my transition might look like in the long term. My family remained my rock, their unwavering support a beacon of hope in moments of doubt. Mia, as always, was my greatest cheerleader. On my 21st birthday, she surprised me with a small party, complete with a cake that read, "Happy birthday, Evelyn." You've come so far, she said as we hugged. And I can't wait to see where this journey takes you next. Neither could I, because for the first time in my life, I wasn't just existing, I was living. And it felt beautiful. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.